in the brutal chaos of war, some stories shine so brightly they defy the darkness. This is the story of Marina Raskova, a woman who didn't just break barriers, she soared right through them. Before World War II, the idea of female combat pilots was unthinkable in most of the world, but in the Soviet Union, one woman's vision would change everything. Marina Raskova wasn't just a pilot, she was a national hero, a record-breaking aviator known as the Soviet Amelia Earhart. When Germany invaded in 1941, the Red Army was desperate. Thousands of women, many of them experienced pilots and navigators from civilian flying clubs, volunteered to fight. They were turned away, told to go home and dig trenches or be nurses. But they refused to be sidelined. Letters poured in, addressed to one person they knew would listen, Marina Raskova. Using her fame and influence, Raskova went directly to Joseph Stalin. She made a daring proposal: create all-female air combat regiments. It was a radical idea, but with the nation's survival on the line, Stalin agreed. In late 1941, Raskova was authorized to form 3 units. The call went out, and over 2,000 women volunteered for just a few hundred spots. They came from all walks of life: factory workers, students, flight instructors, all united by a fierce desire to defend their homeland. Under Raskova's command, they were rushed through training. They learned in months what male pilots learned in years. They were given outdated biplanes, hand-me-down uniforms, and equipment scavenged from anywhere they could find it. Male commanders scoffed, doubting they could handle the pressures of combat. They were about to be proven very, very wrong. These women formed 3 legendary regiments. The 586th Fighter Aviation Regiment, which flew defensive patrols and engaged enemy fighters. The 587th Bomber Aviation Regiment, later renamed in Raskova's honor, which flew advanced dive bombers, and most famously, the 588th Night Bomber Regiment. The 588th flew Polikarpov Po-2 biplanes, planes made of little more than plywood and canvas. They were so slow their top speed was less than the stall speed of the German fighters. But this weakness became their greatest strength. They flew only at night, cutting their engines as they neared their targets, and gliding in silently to drop their bombs. The quiet whooshing sound they made earned them a terrifying nickname from the Germans, who could never see them coming: the Nachthexen, or the Night Witches. Flying these open cockpit planes in the freezing Russian winters, with no parachutes, no guns for defense, and no radar, was incredibly dangerous. They would fly mission after mission, sometimes up to 18 in a single night. The pilots and navigators, most in their late teens or early 20s, faced intense anti-aircraft fire and German night fighters. They became the most highly decorated female unit in the Soviet Air Force, flying over 24,000 combat missions by the end of the war. Tragically, Marina Raskova, the woman who started it all, didn't live to see the final victory. She was killed in action in 1943 while flying to the front lines. She was given the first state funeral of the war, and her ashes were buried in the Kremlin wall. Her legacy: however, was immortal. She had forged a new reality. The men who had doubted them, the enemies who had feared them, and the system that had tried to hold them back, they all tried to break the line. But Marina Raskova and her pilots didn't just hold the line, they became it. An unbreakable, soaring line in the sky, forever changing the face of warfare and proving that courage knows no gender. Thanks for watching. If you were inspired by this story, hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of incredible people from history. See you next time.